I'm Bennett Markinson. I go to Northwestern University, and I'm a baseball player. Probably the best advice has been to make the most kind of these 4 years and enjoy them. They fly by a lot more than high school or when I was younger, and I think you make some of the best memories, being on a team with other of your best friends in college. And I'm a senior now, and I think literally walk around campus and feel like freshman year was a few days ago. So as I have about 2 months left here playing baseball, I think just make the most of every second, enjoy every moment you get, even the tough ones, the 6 a.m. lifts, the late practices, the hectic schedules, because you're going to look back and those are going to be some of the fondest times, and you're going to wish you had one more day where you'd be able to do that with everyone. Yeah, I think it's important to have a really good routine in place. Ways that you can know what you have to do without, on the one hand, like overworking mentally or physically. But at the other hand, if things are going well, have a routine in place that you can consistently do. Even when you're struggling, you can kind of turn to. I think, at times, if you are, especially in baseball, which is a sport that a lot of people go through slumps, I think it's really easy to get in your head and kind of overthink and not really know how to get out of it or snap out of it. But I think if you have routines in place, that's super helpful for you. And I think another piece of advice that's helped me in that regard is every day try to get better. Try to realize what you need to improve on. Don't just rep out the things that you're already kind of strong at, but really dive in, work at the things that you need to work on, improve on, and kind of look at yourself at the end of every day and be happy with kind of the work you put in, and that you did everything you could kind of in that day to improve and do as much as you could to help yourself get better on the field. Yeah, I think one thing, I'm a catcher, so mobility and stretching, I think, is something that when I got to college, I didn't put as much emphasis on or spend as much time doing as I could. And as I got older, especially, the position I play, I think having a really, set mobility routine and having exercises that help, keep me athletic, keep me loose behind the plate, that's super important. And that's something that even, Northwestern has so much, so many resources when it comes to everything. And that's something that if you don't, go out of your way and work on it, you're not going to get as much in as you probably should. So that's one thing I think that's super important to me. The other thing, kind of more baseball specific, I think is the mental side, or like the approach when hitting. I think a lot of times, people quickly go to like their mechanics or what's wrong with their swing or small things that they're trying to improve on or work on. Or if they're struggling, like, hey, what's wrong with my swing? Or a lot of the times, 95% of the time, it's either your timing or what pitch you're swinging at. And that just kind of comes down to your approach, your plan when you get into the box, how sold out or committed you are to it, and if it aligns with, what you're actually going to get at the plate. And I think that's something, as I grew as a collegiate athlete, that got better and better and has definitely helped me, improve at the plate. Yeah, I think for me, I definitely had a unique high school experience and upbringing. I wasn't recruited till very late in the process. I think there was even a point my senior year of high school where I wasn't even sure. I wanted to, and I knew I was going to do everything I could to play college baseball. But I was December of my senior year uncommitted, and I was like, "Is this like, am I not even going to get an opportunity or a position to play at a school I want to play at?" So I would say like a challenge I faced was, showing up every day, having the belief that like things are going to work out. I'm going to, going to find a place to play in college and continuing to work hard every single day to prepare myself to be in a position where once I got to college, I was ready to go. Even though, for, most of my high school career, like there was a lot of uncertainty regarding playing at that next level. And I think I grew a lot from that, and also kind of learned that, prepare and do as if, things are going to work out and that you're going to be in a position. So when that opportunity presents itself, you're ready to go. And it's not, oh, I got an offer. Now I'm scrambling to catch up, to get stronger, to get better on the field. So I'm ready once it comes. But in my case, it was like, things ended up working out. I committed in March of my senior year, and I felt ready, to go to finish my high school career strong. And once I hit the summer and got to Evanston in the fall, ready to roll and jump in, ready to go. I've always been an academic person, so for me, I was trying to find a balance of the best possible academics with the best possible baseball. And I think when a school like Northwestern calls and you get a top 10 academic institution in the country, and you compare that with Power Five or Power Four now baseball, Big Ten baseball, and I'm from Los Angeles, lived there my whole life too, so get to experience another city in Chicago. I think it was a no-brainer for me. So I think one and two were pairing the academics with the athletics, and there are very few schools that can offer top tier school in sports like Northwestern. And then I think I was super excited too about being able to move to the Midwest, experience seasons, and live really close to Chicago, which is a city that I've grown to love in my 4 years here. Yeah, I think at the plate, I touched on it a little bit, but I think your mentality and your approach definitely has to grow. I think in high school, it's easy to have a simple like, hey, I'm just gonna, hit fastballs low and away because that's 95% of the time what you're gonna get. And when you get to college, the pitchers improve, the stuff is better, and you really have to be able to do a multitude of things kind of in the box. Like you have to be able to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but you also have to be able to, if he leaves a 0-0 hanging slider over the middle of the plate, like in high school, it was like, all right, you might be able to just take that because you probably, one, it's not that good of a pitch. Two, you probably can't repeatedly throw it for a strike. In college, you put yourself in a hole and you're down 0-1, opens the door for him to, throw a multitude of pitches and locations kind of off of that. So being able to, one, adapt to like higher velocity, better stuff, better arms, and two, being able to hit mistakes more often early in the count, I think it's something that you have to be able to do and get better at. That was definitely one thing that kind of jumped out, in the box once I got to college. On the defensive side, I think a lot of it is catching way better pitchers with more movement, more accuracy, more velocity. It's definitely a jump in terms of what you're used to seeing, and I think the more preparation you do with high velocity pitching machines, just getting reps of catching your arms as much as possible. All that type of stuff helps kind of get you adjusted and acclimated. And I think that really helped me on a defensive side be able to come in and be ready to catch right away at the college level. It's hard. It's hard for sure, especially right now. We're about to have finals in season. But I think one thing that you really learn as a student athlete, especially at a top tier school like Northwestern, is how to manage your time well, how to get ahead, how to communicate with your professors, with your classmates. If we're on the road and I'm missing a class, how am I able to either get the notes from someone I missed, or maybe go to office hours, meet with the professor, catch up on some of the material that I didn't get, and then being diligent. We have I hate doing work on a plane, but last night we had a 2-hour plane ride at like 9 o'clock on a Sunday, and I was studying for an exam I had today. Like being able to know, all right, what times am I going to be needing to be locked in on baseball, fully focused, fully bought in on that, and what times I may have some downtime, and you might have to make some sacrifices. You might not be able to, go out with your friends, do kind of social aspirations or social things kind of and stay in and catch up on work or start, studying and get ahead. But I think that's sacrifices that, all student athletes have to make. And especially at Northwestern, you get pretty good at kind of balancing the two and knowing what you have to get done, when you have to get it done by, and how to kind of be prepared both athletically and academically. Yeah, that's a great question. I think, the way I go about it is I want to be a resource to these young guys. Like I want them to be able to, ask me anything they want, dumb or stupid, like good question or not. Like if something's on your mind, like I've been through it. It's now my 4th year here. I know about balancing school. I know how hard the transition is freshman year. I know how the adjustment period to college baseball versus high school baseball is. I've done it. And I think, when I was a younger, underclassmen, I leaned on some of these upperclassmen, asked them for feedback, for advice, and they helped me get to the point to where I am. And I think once you have that culture in place within a team where it's like, hey, these younger guys are able to rely on these older guys, and when I was a younger guy, I was able to do that, it makes it really easy for when you become an upperclassman to be that mentor, be that role model to these younger guys and be like, hey, any question you have, like feel free to text me, call me. Like we have a baseball house. We told the younger guys, like one of the first days, anytime you want, stop by the house, come by, hang out with us. Like it's an open door. I think that's how you foster a really strong team culture, a good environment. And that's how you help the freshmen feel comfortable right away. I think, at a school like Northwestern, that's really one niche thing about us is like we have to have freshmen coming in ready to, compete right away. We're not a school that's able to bring in 100 transfers, with kind of the academics and how hard it is to get into Northwestern, that we rely on some of these younger guys to help us on the field immediately. And, for us to be successful and be as good as we want, like, we need those younger guys to be comfortable, to be able to come and make an impact right away. And a lot of that comes from us being able to help, speed them up and get them ready to play college sports. And that, is a reason that it's so important for us to be a resource for them. Thank you to everyone who has made my 4 years at Northwestern so special. From the coaching staffs, from all my teammates throughout my 4 years, to the athletic advisors, to everyone, athletic trainers, strength coaches, everyone who has played a part in making this university so special. I've been blessed and very grateful to be able to spend my time as a student athlete here at Northwestern, and there's definitely no place that I'd rather be than here. And there's a reason that in today's day and age with NIL and the transfer portal, I always wanted to stay, and I always wanted to finish my 4 years and graduate from here and look back proud of what we've accomplished and what I've done. And it wouldn't be possible for everyone that I've come across, I've played with, I've played for, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm excited to be a Northwestern Wildcat for life and look back fondly on my time here and the programs and the classes of Northwestern baseball that comes after me as well. Some advice that I've gotten is in the past has been like, hey, if you're good enough, they'll find you. I actually would say that's probably not true in some cases. So I would say, one, keep working. The first thing is you need to be good enough to play. Coaches will be able to tell if you are, if you're not. So continuing to get better, to improve, defensively, offensively, mentally, all that stuff goes a long way. And I think a coach will very easily know if you're strong enough to play Division I baseball, if you're strong enough to be a good fit for the program. So on the one hand, continuing to work every day and to get better. And then from there, I think be proactive. A piece of advice, as I mentioned, that I got was, hey, if they're good enough, they'll find you. And I think it's actually not always the case. But in today's day and age with social media, with Twitter, it's really easy to, put a video out there and get a lot of traction, or reach out, through email to college coaches to have a highlight reel from kind of your playing days as a high school athlete. And I think being, really proactive, reaching out to the schools that you want to go to, developing relationships with coaches as early as you can. And I think pushing yourself and marketing yourself well through social media when you're, meeting with coaches, I think all goes a long way for developing interest for yourself. And the last thing I would say is don't get discouraged. I committed in March of my senior year, and it was really late. So for some guys, it happens early if you're good enough. But for a lot of guys like me, it's a later process. So I would say, if it's your junior summer or your senior fall and you're not committed yet, don't give up. Keep grinding, keep reaching out, and keep having faith that it'll work out, because it did for me. And I'm grateful for how the process ended up playing out, because if I committed earlier, I don't think I would have ended up at Northwestern. And I'm very grateful for the fact that I did, and very happy with how my process ended up working out. I'm Bennett Markinson. I am a senior at Northwestern on the baseball team, and you can check me out on Next Level Prep.